But if you were at 168, when we think about anybody at 168 outside of Canelo, the first name that comes to anybody's mind is David Benavidez. What about the potential for a fight like that?
No, like I said, man, that's a big dude. You know what I mean? He ain't even at 168. You know, when you look
right now, at 175, yeah.
He probably can't even make 168, you know. But me personally, I believe in my skills and my ability that I could be in.
Crawford recently spoke about the idea of facing David Benavidez following his dominant victory over Canelo Alvarez. Meanwhile, promoter Eddie Hearn weighed in, saying the most exciting matchup in American boxing right now would be Crawford against Jaron "Boots" Ennis. According to Hearn, such a fight would require a huge purse to get Crawford interested, not because Crawford doubts himself, but because he knows Boots presents a serious challenge. In Hearn's eyes, Ennis is like a younger version of Crawford, full of talent and just waiting for the right opportunities to prove his greatness.
Terence Crawford against Jaron Ennis, for me, is the best fight in American boxing. But it needs to be a payday for Crawford that would get him interested, because Crawford knows how good Boots is. And I'm not saying that Crawford thinks he's going to lose to Boots, but he knows that is a real fight. But for me, Boots is the new Crawford.
Mayweather added that David Benavidez is seen as the one fighter most competitors try to avoid, which in turn only boosts his reputation and value in the sport. He explained that if the right financial package is offered, a Crawford-Benavidez fight could absolutely happen. Since no promoter could realistically claim it's not affordable, it would ultimately depend on whether Crawford wants that challenge. At the same time, Jeff pointed out that for Canelo, the smartest move after suffering defeat would be to chase a rematch. In his view, that's the only path that could help Canelo regain his position and respond to the doubts raised by Crawford's dominant performance.
If you were at 168, when we think about anybody at 168 outside of Canelo, the first name that comes to anybody's mind is David Benavidez. What about the potential for a fight like that?
No, like I said, man, that's a big dude. You know what I mean? He ain't even at 168. You know, when you look
right now, at 175, yeah.
He probably can't even make 168. But when you look at these fights, you know, especially coming up, you gotta be realistic. You gotta, you know, say, all right, you know, how big is this dude really is? Because David Benavidez, he can fight his ass off, you know. But me personally, I believe in my skills and my ability that I could be in.
When asked about the idea of moving up to 168 to take on David Benavidez, Terence Crawford gave a candid response. He acknowledged that Benavidez is a naturally big fighter, possibly even better suited for light heavyweight at 175, making the size gap a serious factor to consider. Crawford explained that when discussing future matchups, it's important to stay realistic about those physical differences. Even so, he didn't shy away from the challenge. Crawford emphasized that while Benavidez is both strong and talented, he fully trusts his own skill set and remains confident that he has what it takes to defeat anyone placed in front of him.
You heard Bomac that he does not want Crawford to fight David Benavidez. So right now, you know, I believe that we have a tough fight, man. November 22nd. I don't want to get ahead of my fight. And, you know, we're super focused 100% on getting to Riyadh and making that fight happen and keep proving ourselves and show the people who David is. Let's see what happens after that. Like I said, you know, I will tell you, though, that it will be easy because, you know, we'll be fighting. If everything goes well, we'll take a couple of weeks off and the weight will not be a problem because we will already there, kind of. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's, you know, my job as the manager is to get them the best fights and train them as a trainer. And I mean, we want to make history, brother. So, and if the people want that fight and people think that that's a good fight, you know, and if Bomac and Terence Crawford want that fight, why not? You know, we're here to please the fans and give them what they want.
David Benavidez's father and trainer, Jose Benavidez Sr., recently spoke about the possibility of a showdown between his son and Terence Crawford. He revealed that Crawford's coach, Brian Bomac McIntyre, isn't too keen on that matchup at the moment. According to Jose, their immediate priority is David's upcoming test on November 22nd in Riyadh, and they're not looking past that challenge. The plan, he explained, is to take care of business in that fight, allow David a short recovery, and then consider the next steps while his weight is still under control. As both manager and trainer, Jose stressed that his mission is to secure the biggest opportunities and cement David's legacy. And if Crawford's camp genuinely wants the fight, he said they would gladly accept because, in the end, their aim is to deliver the kind of blockbuster matchups the fans are demanding.
You know, I think David's too big for Terence Crawford. I think Terence Crawford will be like 38 years old, you know? I mean, it will not be the same as Canelo, man. We know David comes in and throws a lot of punches and put the pressure. And no disrespect to Terence Crawford, he's the best pound for pound. He's in the books to do history. He did something that nobody could do. But at the end of the day, we're talking about the Mexican monster, you know? David's young, strong, super big for Terence Crawford. And, you know, even Terence Crawford said that Kavaliauskas or whatever hit harder than Canelo because the power's not there anymore. With David, it's a difference.
At the same time, Jose Benavidez Sr. emphasized that a potential clash between his son and Terence Crawford would be anything but simple for the former undisputed champion. He described David as the Mexican monster, highlighting that unlike Canelo Alvarez, David is still young, naturally bigger, and capable of throwing punches in bunches while applying non-stop pressure. Jose acknowledged Crawford's pound-for-pound greatness and the historic milestones he has already achieved, but stressed that physical size and fighting style can't be ignored. He even pointed out that Crawford once admitted Egidijus Kavaliauskas hit harder than Canelo, suggesting that Canelo's power may have declined. Against David, however, Jose warned it would be a completely different scenario, because his son's size, strength, and pressure could prove overwhelming, especially with Crawford now moving into the later stages of his career.
Hear me out here, Kamaru. Terence Crawford versus the Mexican monster, David Benavidez.
I knew it was coming.
He was the mandatory for Canelo.
Oh
Canelo.
my God. Relax.
What's up? The scariest guy in the division.
He's not in the division.
He said he could still make 168 pounds. Dude. The reason why he went up because nobody wants to fight him.
That's a big dude. And to be honest, Terence Crawford's 37 years old.
It's about merit. Could I get to the generational talent, as he said, with Manny Pacquiao? He's an 8-division world champ.
If it ain't no big name, Terence, do what you do.
MMA stars Henry Cejudo and Kamaru Usman also weighed in on the possibility of Terence Crawford stepping into the ring with David Benavidez. Usman didn't hold back, calling Benavidez the most dangerous fighter in the division, and pointing out that at 37 years old, Crawford would be giving away too much in terms of size, youth, and raw physical strength against a naturally bigger, relentless pressure fighter. Cejudo echoed the sentiment, noting that the only reason Benavidez hasn't already shared the ring with Canelo Alvarez is because most fighters avoid him, which in itself proves how much of a threat he really is. Both men showed respect for Crawford, describing him as a once-in-a-generation talent comparable to Manny Pacquiao, but agreed that the physical disadvantages make Benavidez an especially high-risk challenge at this stage of Crawford's career.
I don't think it would be any different. Canelo said it himself, he couldn't figure it out. I mean, it was just, like I said, Crawford fought a perfect fight. I think both sides could make some adjustments, but I think it would be the same result.
Virgil Ortiz also gave his take on the idea of a Terence Crawford versus Canelo Alvarez rematch. According to Ortiz, he doesn't see the fight going any differently than the first encounter. He reminded fans that even Canelo admitted afterward that he couldn't solve Crawford's style. In Ortiz's view, Crawford delivered a near-flawless performance the first time around, and although both men could try to adjust in a second bout, he believes the result would ultimately be the same, Crawford walking away with another victory.
As much as he was before for Terence, after that virtuoso performance, I would love for him to retire and enjoy his family. I don't think he can do anything else that's going to top this.
Right off into the sunset. And,
yeah, man. He fought a great fight. No, there's nobody out there that can give him that kind of step up for his legacy. His legacy is cemented. Who's gonna give him that kind of going out like he did last night? You know, in front of 70,000 people, he fought a virtuoso fight.
Crazy.
Sanchez also weighed in, praising Terence Crawford's performance as nothing short of a masterpiece. He suggested that the victory was so complete and historic that it would be the perfect moment for Crawford to step away from the sport and enjoy life with his family. Sanchez explained that no future fight could truly surpass what Crawford achieved that night, describing it as the ideal sunset moment. In his view, Crawford's legacy is already secure, and after delivering such a flawless showing in front of 70,000 fans, there's nothing left he needs to prove.
You were to not fight again, you'd be undefeated at 42-0. Would that satisfy you?
If that was the decision that I made, my team made, for me to walk away, away from the sport, then of course I'd be, content and happy because that's the decision that I made. I'm not gonna make something, that I'm not comfortable with. I had a great career. I've done some tremendous things in the sport of boxing. I made a lot of history. What can I not be proud of if I walk away from the sport right now? I don't have no regrets because everything that I did it my way. So if I was to walk away from the sport right now, I wouldn't have no reason to hold my head.
Terence Crawford has also addressed the idea of retirement, saying that if he were to walk away from boxing with a 42-0 record, he would be completely at peace with that decision. He explained that his career has already given him everything he could ask for: historic achievements, major victories, and a legacy he's proud of. Crawford emphasized that all of his success came on his own terms, and if he chose to step away now, he would do so with no regrets, confident that he left the sport with nothing left to prove.
I'd like to see him just get some rest, man. Spend some time with his family. Holidays is coming up. Maybe do a little traveling and then get back in the gym and then assess where he at after that.
So he wants to fight again?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I think that's good to hear because some people, Shakur said he doesn't want to see him fight.
Well, that's Shakur. How fighters can be like, okay, you accomplish everything, but, he's a damn good fighter. I love working with him. But if he say, let's go 2 or 3 more times, let's go 2 or 3 more times.
Brian Bomac McIntyre, Crawford's longtime trainer, shared that his fighter deserves some time off to relax, enjoy the holidays with family, and maybe do a little traveling before thinking about what's next. According to him, Crawford has made it clear he still wants to compete, even though voices like Shakur Stevenson have suggested he's already done enough to secure his legacy. Bomac, however, expressed that he enjoys working with Crawford and will stand behind whatever decision he makes. If Crawford chooses to step into the ring 2 or 3 more times, McIntyre said he's fully committed to guiding him through those camps and making sure he's ready.
Terence Crawford dominated that fight so much, and I know it was a little bit nip-tuck at times, but when you look at the art of pugilism and the skill set that came from Terence Crawford and the way he dismantled, dissected, and beat him at his own game towards the end, took Canelo on and beat him at his own game. Terence Crawford it was an easy night's work for him, dare I say, an easy night's work against Canelo Alvarez. And I don't want to rain on this parade, but Canelo is definitely past his best. But I don't think it would have mattered because Crawford was that good. 38 years old. How does he do it? He's on the Cobra juice. Whatever the Cobra's taking, he's like a youth. What he's just done is unbelievable. And I'd actually like to see him retire.
Former champion Carl Froch applauded Crawford's display against Canelo Alvarez, noting that although there were competitive moments, Crawford's intelligence and versatility in the ring ultimately allowed him to take control. Froch pointed out how Crawford managed to outthink and even outbox Canelo in the later rounds, which impressed him greatly. He added that it's remarkable for a fighter at 38 years old to continue operating at such a high level, joking that Crawford must be on something that keeps him sharp and youthful, and calling the performance nothing short of extraordinary.
You know what? I think Crawford won 9, maybe 10 rounds out of the whole 12 rounds. One judge had it very close. I don't know why. I think Crawford clearly won. Right before the show started. I did the show we do with Boxing Scene, and at the end they told me, you have to say something. I said Crawford by decision, because the reason is because Crawford is hungry to make history, to become a legend. Canelo has already accomplished too much, has already done too much, and he wasn't. I don't see that hunger in him anymore. I don't see that those changes anymore. He fights flat-footed, throws one punch at a time. He's not fast anymore, and that's why I picked Crawford by decision.
Robert Garcia stated that Crawford's victory over Canelo Alvarez was decisive, estimating that he won 9 or even 10 of the 12 rounds. In contrast, he felt Canelo appeared slower, more flat-footed, and lacked the same hunger he once had, perhaps due to everything he has already accomplished in boxing. Garcia added that he had actually predicted a Crawford decision win before the fight, precisely because of Crawford's drive and sharp focus.
What do you think of Crawford's performance over Canelo?
It was super.
Super.
Because the thing is that when you got both of the guys are good.
Right.
I just think that when you have two guys, the smaller guy is a guy that he don't have the punching power, but he has the skills that's necessary.
Crawford.
Yeah.
So you were very impressed with his performance? Would you say?
Well, yeah. The point of the matter is, I knew if it came down to if somebody got knocked out, I thought Crawford would probably get knocked out.
Yeah.
But I know about boxing.
Evander Holyfield also applauded Crawford's display, noting how his technical brilliance shined despite giving up size and raw punching power to Canelo. Holyfield admitted that at first, he thought Crawford might be the one at risk of getting stopped. Instead, Crawford completely controlled the bout and outsmarted his opponent. To Holyfield, it was a masterclass in discipline, skill, and ring intelligence, qualities that made the win all the more remarkable.
Boy, quick reaction to that. What did you make of the performance of Terence Crawford?
He boxed a beautiful performance, a beautiful night, kind of like I thought it would be. Took a page out of Eric Sunday Law's book and made it work for himself.
Would you like to see Canelo retire after that?
I said what Canelo want to do. Canelo been carrying boxing for the last 15 years. He deserves to do anything he want to do.
Terence Crawford's 37. Devin Haney said he thinks he would like him to retire. Do you agree with that statement?
He can do whatever he wants to do. He's been dominating for a long time too, so he can do whatever he wants to do. I would like to see him retire because it'd be hard for anybody to top that, and they definitely put him on the top 5 list, and he'd be able to stay there because he hasn't been beat.
Last question. Is Terence Crawford the greatest of all time?
Absolutely the greatest of all time.
Where does he rank?
I don't know, but he's not the greatest of all time. He's greatest of all time.
Roy Jones Jr. praised Crawford's victory as a display of intelligence, discipline, and skill, exactly the type of fight he anticipated from him. He also showed respect to Canelo Alvarez, saying that with all he has accomplished, Canelo could retire tomorrow and still have his spot in boxing history secured, easily ranking inside the top 5. While Jones didn't go as far as calling Crawford the greatest of all time, he did recognize him as one of the finest fighters the sport has ever produced.
Terence Crawford, great performance, man. He's been doing this throughout the course of his career. The stakes were a lot different in this fight, a lot more danger. He had to fight that kind of fight in order to beat Canelo Alvarez tonight, and he did that at 37, but getting ready to be 38 years old. And he proved, like Max said, that he is the GOAT of this generation. Hats off to Canelo for taking the fight. He didn't have to take it. Hats off to Turkey Al-Sheikh for putting it together. Just a great night for boxing.
Yeah. How special a fighter is someone like Terence Crawford? There was no signs of a size disadvantage there. How special?
You can see it in spots, but it wasn't significant. And I didn't think it was going to be significant. And people called me crazy, but I've been around Terence. He's strong. He's got a wrestling background, and people don't realize that he's been boiling himself down all these years and still being successful, not having to do that. His condition seemed impeccable, and his strength was there. The power was there enough to get respect from Canelo. So what more can I...
Andre Ward also praised Crawford, pointing out how remarkable it was for him to deliver such a performance at nearly 38 years old. He said Crawford followed the exact strategy required to overcome Canelo and even described him as the best fighter of his era. Ward gave Canelo credit for having the courage to accept the fight and applauded everyone involved in making it a reality. While the size difference was apparent at times, Ward noted that Crawford's conditioning, strength, and power erased those disadvantages and ultimately earned Canelo's respect in the ring.
I told you, motherfuckers. What did you just watch? I only speak the facts.
Oscar De La Hoya criticized the Canelo vs. Crawford fight, saying the outcome only confirmed what he had been predicting all along. He explained that Crawford's dominant victory didn't surprise him, framing it as proof of his earlier belief that Canelo would have a tough time against such a versatile and technically skilled opponent.
Yeah, no, it's boxing, isn't it? It's boxing. It's one of them things. God's got a greater plan.
Do you think it actually could still happen, you and Canelo?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I don't think it'll happen pretty soon, though. I think he'll have a bit of time off and we'll see what happens.
Hamza, do you think Crawford will stay at the weight or should stay at the weight?
I reckon he will stay it because he looked good at it. He looked strong at it.
Did he seem hurt in there at all?
Nah, not at all, man. He was eating them punches, bro. I was shocked, but he's a GOAT. He's one of the GOATs.
Hamza, I want to apologize on behalf of Terence Crawford. He just messed up your bag, man.
I know, bro.
He messed up your bag. What's up?
You say that, though. You say that, but listen, God's got a greater plan, innit? God's got a greater plan, and it'd even be an honor to share the ring with him.
Yeah, with Terence Crawford. Where should he go from that? From this, Hamza? He's 38. He can walk away. Big bag.
Good for
Of a lifetime.
He can do what he wants, bro. He can do what he wants. He's in a position where he can call this.
That wraps up today's video. Now it's your turn. What do you think about a potential Crawford versus Benavidez showdown? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and check out the other videos we've got linked on the screen.